Welcome to this week's Resistance Download entitled Boss. Now, when you bring up the topic of boss and kind of people in authority over us, that's not always easy because for some people they've had some really bad experience with bosses who are, just dictatorial and just kind of rude and just kind of harsh and crass and people that wanted it their way and that was the end of the road or whatever it may be. And in our very nature, I think it'd be safe to say that none of us really enjoys submitting to authorities that are placed over us. Now, it's easier if they're good people and they're easy to work with, but especially when it's hard, those are the moments when it's like, why am I even doing this? And it's interesting because I've been in those seasons. I remember when I was actually playing on varsity soccer team in high school, and we had a coach, and he was kind of an interesting individual. And I remember I left to go to Seattle for a soccer tryout for college, which should be every high school coach's dream that their players play in college. And I came back and I had to miss one game and I had no choice. It was the only time they had the tryout, but I made sure that, other people were in place and so forth. And I came back and he benched me to the start of the next two games and was kind of really weird towards me. And it was really hard to submit to his leadership because I didn't understand, even though he tried to explain to me, it didn't make a lot of sense. He was just more or less upset and frustrated with me because he didn't get his way. And I knew that I had to do that right decision, but it was hard because I had to choose the rest of that season to submit to his leadership before anything ever got better on that team. And I had a choice. I could have quit. I could have done something else. But I had to make a decision that I knew that God wanted me to submit to the leadership that was put over me. And that's not always easy. You obviously have to determine if the season you're in is where you're supposed to be and it's where God wants you. But if God's placed you somewhere, the Bible has some interesting things to say about bosses and about submitting to authority. And I think that it's taken a new perspective for me because I'm a boss as well as being under somebody else who is my boss. I've got people that work with me and that I work under me, and it's really changed my perspective about this. But it says in Hebrews chapter 13, verse 17, these convicting words, the author of Hebrews put it this way. He said, "Obey your leaders and submit to them, for they are keeping watch over your souls as those who will have to give an account. Let them do this with joy and not with groaning, for that would be of no advantage to you." Essentially what he's saying is that one of the reasons we're supposed to submit to people around us is because it makes things a whole lot better. It works a lot better. Now, they may not be perfect, but I also know that I'm not perfect as a boss, and I know that none of us probably are. And there's a principle that I really began to understand and kind of grab hold of that has really challenged me. And that's simply this: if I won't submit to the vision of someone else, and I won't submit to the leadership of someone else, then God will never give me anyone that will submit to the vision and the leadership that God's called me to walk in. If I won't submit to somebody else's vision, if I won't help make somebody else's vision happen, if I won't humble myself and allow somebody else's opinion, someone else's leadership to guide and navigate me, then I really have no right to ask somebody else to do that for the vision God's placed in my life. And I want to encourage you, look at the vision, look at the drive, look at the things God's placed in you, the leadership He's given you, whether it's in a secular profession, or a ministry profession, or volunteering, or a small group leader, or whatever it may be, and realize that until you're willing to submit to the leadership that God's placed over you in your life, that you're not going to have the same voice and opportunity to make a difference, because God's going to say, hey, first I want you to be humble. First I want to teach you how to be under leadership. Now, I've been under leadership of Pastor John Gregg, our lead pastor here, for about 8.5 years. And is he perfect? No, but he's a godly man that loves the Lord. And I've learned how to have to push my agenda aside and listen to what God's speaking to him and serve the vision that God's placed with him in as well. And it's been a big difference maker for me. There's one last passage I want to read to you before we finish our Resistance Download. It's John 14:15. And these are Jesus' words, and this is why this is so important. He says, "If you love me," Jesus speaking, "then you'll keep my commandments." See, more than just submitting to the leadership of the people around us, more than just submitting to the leadership of the bosses we have or the governing authorities over us, Jesus goes, it goes deeper than that. When you can't submit to those things, it's probably going to be difficult for you to learn to submit to my leadership in your life. And the ultimate goal of a Christ follower is that we would submit to the leadership of Jesus in our life. That whatever he says goes, that whatever he talks to us about, nothing's off limits, and that he's able to direct and guide us without any interruption or argument. And so I want to encourage you, choose to submit to the leadership of Jesus. Choose to say, God, whatever you want me to do, I will do it. When I read the Bible and I'm convicted by something, instead of pushing it aside, I'm going to embrace it. And I'm going to allow you to speak to me through your Holy Spirit and challenge me. And I'm also going to apply that in the relationships I have in my workplace, in my home, my family, so that I can learn to submit to the vision and direction that others have and serve those visions, so that then in turn as well, I know God will give me people in my life and serve the vision that He's called me to. So think about that principle of boss. I love you and believe in you. Have a great week. I'll see you.
From November 1st to November 30th, the people of Resistance are going to be wearing one shirt for 1 month. We're calling this My One Shirt, and it'll do two things. One, it'll bring awareness to many parts of the world only have one shirt to wear. They're in extreme poverty, and so we're going to be bringing awareness to the area of Ethiopia during this month.
And the missionaries we're going to be working with in Ethiopia are Doug and Tasha Myers. Doug and Tasha have been faithfully serving Ethiopia for a little over 1.5 years now. Before that, they were actually in Swaziland, right on the border there in South Africa and Mozambique. And they're doing an incredible job in Ethiopia working with an organization called Live Dead. It works with planting churches all throughout Ethiopia and helping people to connect with the good news of who Jesus is. So far, we already have about somewhere in the framework of $67,000. Our goal is to raise an additional 11 to 12 so that we can provide them a very nice SUV vehicle so they're able to travel all around Ethiopia and they're not hindered in doing the good work that God's called them to there.
So if you want to buy a shirt, the shirts are $20. Half goes to actually getting the shirt and the other half actually goes to the Myers family. You can do that at www.myoneshirtbayarea.com, or if you want to donate, you can also do that there as well.
And the goal is to make sure that people are actually kind of like basically sponsoring you.
Yep.
And so if Matt wears this shirt, I wear my shirt, get somebody to sponsor you. Hey, I'll pay you $1 a day to wear this for the next 30 days, so $30 for the month. And then collect those monies and you can give it right there on the website.
Yep, if 100 people got $100 in 1 month, that'd be $10,000 in a month. So we hope you'll be a part of My One Shirt Bay Area this year.
Let's do it. Welcome to Africa. I want to tell you about an exciting opportunity for us for our mission trip this next summer in 2015. It's going to be June 12th through the 23rd. We're going to be going to Ethiopia, to Addis Ababa. It's the capital of Ethiopia, and we're going to be working with missionaries Doug and Tasha Myers. We're going to be helping to plant churches through an initiative called Live Dead. We're going to be working with children's ministry and other programs while we're there, making a difference in the nation of Ethiopia. And I'm really excited to hopefully have you partner with us to go. This trip is open to everyone who's in college, young adults, and young marrieds, and also juniors and seniors in high school. We want to make sure that you get your information in soon. The deposit is $95. You can sign up online at ctcresistance.org, click the Ethiopia 2015 button, and then go through the process to register online. This is a first-come, first-served basis, so if you wait too long to get your registration and you may not be able to go, we will have a waiting list for the trip after 30 people. 30 people is our maximum cap for the trip, so get signed up right away. We'll be receiving those registrations over the next 3 to 4 weeks, and then we're going to begin our meetings together right away. So make sure you sign up. The overall cost of the entire trip is $2,990 for the trip. That includes airfare, your meals, and our transportation there and back, as well as our housing when we're there and the mission trip itself. So you won't have many other expenses. So I want to encourage you, get signed up right away today. Get involved with our trip to Ethiopia this summer 2015.